And step one is um, keep a positive attitude, right? So how do you do that? Because sometimes it's hard to be positive in negative situations, right? Keep a positive attitude. Um, Daily positive affirmations. Sometimes just stand in your mirror and say, I am great. Today will be a great day. This situation does not define me. I am more than what this situation says that I am. So figure out what words that you can say to yourself to help you stay in the now, to help you be positive. Read positive quotes. I mean, the internet is full of a plethora of information that you can use to keep yourself on point and involved and engaged with what you need to do in your life.
Or getting you an exercise group. Right now, because of the social distancing and everything, um, I suggest, one or two people that, because like I said, we walk in the neighborhood, we walk in our neighborhood. And so even if you get, if it's your family, you have family members, y'all can get in that house and dance. There's a lot of people got the, what is that stuff? Well, next to YouTube, a lot of exercise channels, and y'all can get together and just dance. Find little routines for y'all to do together. Y'all can do that, and y'all can walk together. And like I said, even if it's three people, y'all have a little space in between y'all, and um, the recipes, having low cal recipes. Y'all can get even if it's starting with one or two recipes each day, y'all can get those recipes and switch out with each other. And sometimes, like y'all can pick one day.
What a hashtag does is it connects you to all the other hashtags like it. So if you clicked on hashtag Fab40 on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, you'll see all the other people that hashtagged Fab40. So let's bring it to your business. You want people to know you for your hospitality services. I'll just use our company as example. So you would research all the popular and what's the word, frequently used hashtags that relate to your industry. What do other people use when they're looking for your type of service, your type of product? That's number one. It's not based on what you want, it's based on what do the people want, right? So when you hashtag, you want to use those. You could use new ones. You can make up ones that directly relate to your company, hashtag staff bar company, but you also want to look up like hashtag hospitality, hashtag promote small businesses. You want to look at things that everyone else is using when you're hashtagging things. And of course, don't go crazy.
Okay, so let's go through this. Number one, and afterwards, if you want the PowerPoints, I'll send it to her and she can distribute the PowerPoint. Before we also get started, if you're interested in getting any of my ebooks, I have one ebook that I really would like to share with you called Up at Dawn. It's my Facebook motivational quotes. So if you're interested in it, let me know and I'll share that with you. I'll just pass on your email. So number one, you have to spend time meditating, praying, and thinking. And basically, you want to think on two factors. One of the factors is, what is the quality of life that you want to develop, that you want to desire? And the second thing is, what is your purpose? Why are you here on this earth? That establishes, once you understand those two factors, that establishes your clarity. Number two, you want to decide on what are your goals based on what you learned out of number one. What are your goals in life? You might have two separate set of goals. You might have some personal goals, business goals, and your career and business goals, and then you might have your personal goals. Now, success means different things to different people, so it's not the same thing to everyone. So consider what you learned in number one, all right? Meditate, pray, and think. Think about the quality of life you desire, and then what is your purpose here?
You do. You have to have a positive mindset. And God gave me, I'm not going to read this to you because I want you to go and grab it off of Amazon. and it's also on Kindle. He gave me the Beatitudes. The Beatitudes. Y'all know about the Beatitudes? Well, he gave me the Beatitudes of business. I'm gonna put my glasses on so I can read them to you. I just want to read 2 of them. It's 8. The 8 Beatitudes of business. I'm gonna read the first one because it's basically talking about what I just got to be talking about. It says, always be controlling your thinking. Always be controlling your thinking. I'm gonna skip. And number 7 of the 8 Beatitudes of business is always be a problem solver. Always be a problem solver.
And I realized that I had to also niche out time for myself, because you have to have that time for yourself in order to balance. Let's face it, we're having to homeschool now. So we've not only turned into parents, we have turned into teachers. And if you're like me and you're still going to work, then you're still having to deal with your coworkers. And the job that I do, working in television news, it's real stressful because all we're talking about now is COVID-19, and we're trying to relay that news to everyone else. So you've got stress at home, you've got stress at work, and then you're trying to figure out, how do I let that go? So what I've had to do is, when I get up in the morning, I have to get myself up before I get my children up. And this is one thing, this works for me. One thing that I do is I've got to start my day out with a devotion in prayer. I cannot leave my room without niching out that time to connect with God.
And it's all about balance. It's all about effective balance. And we're going to go over a couple of tips that I think would help you along your journey of making sure that life and business balance begins to be a little bit easier to cope with and seamless throughout the process. Okay, so let's dig into the first one. The first one is develop a consistent morning routine. So my morning routine usually consists of prayer, because that's very, very important. It usually consists of morning positive affirmations.
Acronym for branding. And you can definitely look at this as an opportunity to evaluate your identity. B is for building. R is for relationships. A is for acquiring. N is for networks. D is deliberately. I is intentional. N is never. G is give up. Building relationships, acquiring networks, deliberately, intentionally, and never giving up. That's it. That is branding. That is the acronym for branding. Building relationships, acquiring networks, deliberately, intentionally, and never giving up.
Talk about coming out head first. One of the first things you want to do is one of the first things you want to make sure that you have in check is you want to have your emotions in check. That's right, have your emotions in check. I tell people all the time, you can't let your emotions drive because they're not covered on your insurance. I'm going to say that again. Don't let your emotions drive because they're not covered on your insurance. You see, oftentimes we make decisions when we're emotional that once we get level-headed, and in fact, once we calm down, we realize that was not the right thing to do. Sometimes we make decisions out of anger. Sometimes we make decisions out of frustration. Sometimes we make decisions because we've been so-called in love, and we wind up having to pay for those later. So in order to come out head first, you have to keep your emotions in check. That means you have to be able to pull back from a situation and actually look at it from a logical standpoint. And I know being in the situation we're in right now, that can be challenging. And one of the reasons is because a lot of people are scared. They're fearful. They don't know what the future holds. And their emotions are running rampant. You have to have something that you can see clearly in your mind and then be willing to actually put in the work to see it come to pass. But without that vision, and of course we all know that the Bible says without the vision, people perish. So what vision do you have for the future? What's your vision after this is over? What do you see yourself doing after this? And I know a lot of people say, well, Tony, I really don't know. Well, can you at least try to imagine? I'm not saying that you have to be 100% right, but at least have a goal. Les Brown says that the problem is that a lot of people, it's not that they aim for a goal and they miss. It's not that they aim too high and miss, but they aim too low and they hit. And some people never even aim at all. So you have to have a goal, and that goal is your vision. Where are you going? Especially if you are a leader, you need to make sure that you have a clear vision for where you want your organization, your family, your business, where you want them to go and be. That vision is so critical because that should be the driving force behind everything else.
So we have to be relentless in our optimism. When you get in that bad state of mind, you've got to find your way back to neutral. Once you find your way back to neutral, then you can worry about going forward and being positive. But in the beginning, if you're in a negative state of mind, you got to get to neutral first. And meditating is a great way to do it, as Addie was showing you. Deep breaths, find center. But then once you've established a success formula for yourself, and everybody's is going to be different, yours isn't going to look like mine. I would say normally when I'm teaching this, I tell people, think about positive attributes. And the first 3, 4, or 5 positive attributes that come to mind, those are probably a good fit for your personal success formula. But then once you've done that for yourself, you've got to be able to branch out and build a success formula for your company as well. And the one I try and use is taking grit and turning it into an acronym. And so for me in business, what I found is if I can use gratitude, relationships, innovation, and teamwork, I'm in the best position possible to increase my likelihood of success.
Glad. And then who you're connected to. Be careful who you connect yourself to, because who you're around, who's speaking into you, that develops your state of mind too. There's an old adage that I was reading up on not too long ago about the effects of negativity in our children and what we speak. In the African culture, in the tribal culture, when a child goes astray and a child goes out, and do things that they're not supposed to, what they do, what the elders do is bring that child back to them, and they encircle the child. And guess what they do? They start speaking the royalty that they are. They start speaking into their child, not negativity, not shaming them, not telling them that they bad, not telling them, how dare you do this, but they bring them back and start speaking to who they are, who they are going to become.
Everybody close your eyes and be quiet. To grieve the loss of your current situation, if you've lost a few customers, if you've lost a couple of dollars, let's be quiet and let's grieve real quick. Okay, that's enough. Now, let's take a moment to praise God that you are still in the position to make a change, pray and pivot, do what you need to do to get it together. This is not the end of the world.
You're broken down and tired of living life on the merry-go-round, and you can't find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out. Move mountains, we gon' walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise and I do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you. The silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet. Move mountains, bring it to its feet. Move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you. That we have each other, and for that we have each other, and we will rise, we will rise, we will rise, we'll rise. I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up in spite of the ache. I will rise 1,000 times again.